Welcome to our Spring Collection Preview, May 2020. Presented by Benartex, Canvas, and Contempo.
Hello, my name is Sandra and I am here to tell you about my very first fabric line designed for Benartex in their division Fabric for Quilters by Quilters. The title of my fabric line is Votes for Women. Now, the Votes for Women line was inspired by a touring exhibition and book published by Schiffer. The exhibition was co-curated by myself and Pamela Weeks, who is the curator for the New England Quilt Museum. Although I live in New York City, I am the curator for the Texas Quilt Museum. And this is the Schiffer book, Deeds, Not Words. Benartex heard about the book and the exhibition and contacted me about possibly designing a fabric line, which I had never done before, but fortunately there's some very knowledgeable people at Benartex who were able to help me, and it turned out to be an amazingly interesting and fun project. And the color palette for the line was determined by symbolic colors that were the colors of the women's suffrage organization in the United States, and those are white, yellow, and purple. We also added in some teal to give a bit of interest and variation, and you can see here one of the fabrics printed with newspaper headings of the time about suffrage in that teal color. The colorways are also purple and yellow for that particular fabric. Some of my favorite fabrics in the collection, two of them are from stamps. There was a 1948 stamp that celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Sentiments, which was the 1848 signature document of the women's rights movements in the United States. But my absolute favorite is this one. I'll show it to you. This was a stamp issued by the U.S. government to celebrate the 50th anniversary of women's suffrage. And I like it particularly because it shows a car, and that car was the car of Sarah Bard Field, a San Francisco suffragist who drove with her team across the country for several months to Washington to gather more than 500,000 signatures and present that huge roll of signatures to Congress in support of women's suffrage. Another favorite of mine is the Venus symbol. This is the very antique from antiquity symbol for women or females, and some of you may be familiar with variations on this and the recent transgender initiatives across the world. But this is the basic symbol for women, and we did this in two scales. There's a much larger version, which will cut into interesting ways across the surface of a quilt. But I also love how the designer worked different words and images from other aspects of the fabric line into this one. And some of those came from this panel. This is a very long panel that we created that has texts from various suffragists, as well as images of some publications and of some of the marches that you can see that were all the way across the country. The biggest ones were in Chicago, New York, and Washington, of course.
Visit our website to see more information about all of our spring collections, www.benartex.com.